space, but I know that they're not just a sort of slogan or a logo to you. I know they really mean something, and I wonder if you can just define for all of us, what does it mean to you to actually be in charge of your
Well, actually, I think you missed the beginning because everybody else heard when I said it, but I'm happy to repeat it. But before anything...
What have you learned today about being in charge?
Okay. Oh, well, that's a great idea. First of all, when we talked about hope, and I was pretty depressed yesterday, and waking up this morning, I had a bad fall, I'm achy everywhere, I'm so depressed about what's going on in the world. And then you come here, and you listen to all these women, and I think it lifted us all. And I think that hope is this. So I'm very grateful, very happy that we've done this, and the other, can I say something that has nothing to do with it, but it's a little trick because I've lived so long. I have a trick, and because they're all talking about, how do we deal with men and so on. So when you have a difficult situation with a man, the trick is think of him as a little boy.
Not difficult sometimes.
No, think of him as a little boy. Like, think of talking to him like you talk to your son, or a small son. And that will make you slightly more seductive. It's like sometimes I used to sit next to a really boring man at a dinner party, and I said, what am I going to do? And the trick was always, make him talk about his mother. So when you deal with men that you don't like and this and that, just think of him as a little boy. That will be helpful. And that's it. I'm sorry.
That is an excellent answer.
I'm sorry, I didn't answer the question.
That's okay.
I wanted to be eccentric.
You did. That's how you put yourself in charge in that situation.
Right now. We need tricks for seduction.
Yes, okay. Well, maybe later in the panel we're going to get to seduction tricks from either of you, if you have anything to share. Tina, the question I wanted to ask you is, I don't want to say reinvented yourself because it's been you the whole time, but you've had this succession of absolutely amazing jobs, right? Vanity Fair, The New Yorker, Talk, Women in the World, now you're doing your Substack. How do you know, what is the thing in your head that tells you time to do the next thing?
Well, I have a very, very short attention, impatience is a big thing. I'm not a good steward. I like to be in on the birth. I like to have a mission, saving things, absolutely, flat out. It's a mission. It's mission impossible. That's what really gets my juices going. Now, once it's achieved, I start to kind of, my attention starts to wander. So that's really all it is, which is that I love to be in on the creation, and I also feel when the creation is done, it's time for me to move.
What are you enjoying about doing the Substack right now?
I am really enjoying the Substack. I mean, they came after me to write it. It took about it. I was very annoyed. I kept on dithering and saying I didn't really want to do it, and I was fearful to me because the idea of not having an editor, a structure, a whole thing awaiting the copy, as it were, was so foreign to me. But I've actually come to find it very, very interesting and fun because it's such a direct connection to the reader. It's more direct than anything could have. And they do these great sort of stats, which you can look at all the time, which tells you exactly how many subscribers you've got, how much you could graph, the whole thing. And you could think, oh my gosh, I was out at DBS this afternoon and I made, $1,500. There's something actually rather gratifying. It's like gambling. I had a little flutter this afternoon.
Gambling with the power of your
My
brain.
sentences, seduced a few people into subscribing. So I actually enjoy it a great deal, and I do think that the Substack is also, on the kind of cutting edge of where we are all going. I really wouldn't want to have at this point a column in a publication, right? And like this new world of voices, all these voices sort of clamoring away and having their say, and they're all on Substack, it seems. So yeah, I'm having a fun time with it.
And by the way, word to the wise in the audience, if you have not read Vanity Fair Diaries, which is obviously diary of her time as editor there, you have to read it. It's really, I want to see the movie of that one. Ms. Tina, sticking with this idea of kind of reinvention, you know, you've done so many things. You've been a designer, a businesswoman, a mentor, a mother to 3 daughters because you've raised Kelly Roland as well. When you look back at that, what has been kind of the through line to you? Like, what is the consistent sort of Ms. Tina thing that has gone through all of that?
I think more than anything, just the need at the time, you know, whatever the need was for me, and just having new adventures, very much like Tina said, I don't get bored, but I like new adventures, I like new challenges, and I think a big part of it was I built the confidence as I went along. You know, I didn't start off very confident. I think with, you know, I was doing the girls' hair, and then I started doing costumes out of the need. And as I did things, I became more confident. And I was like, oh, you did a pretty good job on that. And so I think I just grew. And I think the later in life it becomes, the more I really don't feel the pressure to prove anything to anyone. And I feel really free to just be myself and do what I want to do. And, you know, not worried so much about, you know, I had this philosophy that I would never do anything to embarrass my kids. That was one of my main goals. So I'm like, I'm going to stay in the background, I'm going to be quiet, and, you know, and I did that for many, many years. And something about turning 60 that I just said, no, I'm just to the point where I'm going to do me, and not worry about, you know, what the world has to say. They're grown now, and, you know, they got to do their thing, and I got to do mine. So